So it's like you're not going to get that treatment. So then it's like if you have like a trans friend or something, like now you mad at her, you're jealous.
Really anybody who gets into like any kind of adult content, the assumption is that they are very horny, and that's why they get into it.
Right.
Which was not the case for me. Welcome back to T-Rated. I'm Auntie Jaide. I have a new guest with me here today. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Chauncey A. McQueen. Do I say what I do? You want me to say what I do?
McQueen. Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
Tell the people what you do.
I'm an actor, entrepreneur. Yeah, that's me.
Entrepreneur what?
So I have a business called Musk Labs, and I also...
Promote yourself, baby.
Yeah. No, people be saying that, and sometimes I just be like forgetting, because I always be in like work mode. So, but yeah, I have a business called Musk Labs. It's a body skincare company. So I also own like a podcast, but I also trying to turn it into a brand, How to Struggle as an Entrepreneur, which is, you know, it's all about talking and getting stories from like different entrepreneurs, singers, dancers, all of that, from just like different levels. Because, you know, like when it comes to like motivational speaking, or you watch those TED Talks, you always hear about people that's like, they're like, oh yeah, you know, I used to sleep in a car, but now I make $800,000 a month. And you're like, okay, well, what happened in between that? The reason that I wanted to create, you know, How to Struggle as an Entrepreneur is to talk about like that journey. I want to hear the hard shit that you've been through. Not like, it's like, okay, cool, the good stuff, but I want to know like your hardships and your obstacles and, you know, your mental health. I want to know about all that. I want to know about the juicy stuff.
The juicy?
The juicy stuff.
That's really cool. Because I've listened to some of your stuff and read some of the stuff that you posted. But I haven't dived into it.
Yeah, it's very, and it's more of a kind of like off the cuff, kind of like just like all things out on the table type of podcast. Because I like to mix, you know, like the business part of it, but also just talking kind of just about business. It can get boring. Yeah. So I got to add in.
You want the lifestyle and the mentality that it takes somebody to go through and be willing to struggle.
And I really want them to get into it. Like, like really tell me like what it's really like. 'Cause some people try to front, and I kind of like.
It's easy.
To front?
It's easy out. No, it's easy out here.
It's easy out here.
If you want a business, just go start a business.
Right. Just go start a business. Just go ahead and apply for LLC. Yeah. So, you know, because people, they start businesses and it fails. Yeah. Or they try to go after things and because they get like this false perception of like social media. And it's like they will just like think it's that easy. And it's like, we gonna show the good things on social media, of course. I was like, but there's a lot of things behind the scenes. You gotta be ready for that. Yeah. Some people
It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's a lot of work. Since you own your own business, Musk Labs, what are some struggles that you've had with getting it started? Huh?
I said, ooh, you spinning it on me.
You asked that to all your people.
It's been a lot because I didn't go to school for business. I've never owned a business. I don't know anybody in my immediate close family that owns a business, so I don't have anybody that I can, you know, reach out to and stuff like that. Same. So I had to figure everything out. And then also I had to prepare for fails because also currently, you know, we're in a store. And
what store are you in?
We're only in one. So Zoe Beauty in Mableton, Georgia. I'm trying to get in, you know, more, but we're just in that store on shelves right now. You know, even figuring out, you know, because with that I had a whole bunch of fails. There will be, you know, I remember when I put the products out for the first time and I had like the wrong barcodes on the wrong product. So the cashier will go to scan a product and it will be a total different product. And, you know, that was a headache. And I think my biggest struggle is just like really building it from nothing. Like from scratch. I don't have no inheritance. I don't have no, you know, anybody just like giving me money, like family that I can just go to, like, give me $10,000. So I got to figure out everything. And also, I'm the head guy, so it's just like anything go wrong, they're going to question me. There is nobody above me. Yeah.
The first time I actually shot with my videographer, Kevin, we were shooting something, and he was like asking me how I wanted something to look. And it was like in that moment, I was like, oh, wait, this my shit. Like,
you looking for the person to be like, you're like, oh.
So I can't just be here. Okay, got it. So I definitely relate to that, especially in the sense of like, me either. Like, I come from like a very poor family, like in South Georgia. So I didn't have like, there was nobody in, like you were saying, my family, immediate friend circle. And even now, I'm kind of looking for someone who is doing better than me so I can get guidance from. And that's hard to find, especially in Atlanta, because, Atlanta is like, everybody's scamming, everybody's fronting. And so it looks like they have it from the outside, which I understand you have to do that to a certain extent to get into, like, your foot into some doors. But when you're looking for someone to be, like, a mentor, it becomes tricky because you want a mentor who actually can do all the stuff that they say they're doing.
I agree. Now, when I moved here, I honestly started I started getting in like contact and started building relationships with older white men that they ain't got the flashy, the Gucci on and they got Skechers on.
Yeah.
And
the Steve Jobs looking at.
Right. Oh, yeah. The people with like real money and just like talking to them, getting advice for them, asking them questions. Like, that is how I learned to grow my business. Because, like, for instance, with Musk Labs, it's like, people can start a little skincare business online, but it's just like, to get it in the store, that's a whole nother level. Within a year of launching, that's a whole nother story. And I feel like people, they kind of listen to, like, the wrong kind of like people. They listen to the people that, flashy, they got all the chains, the Gucci, and they're just sitting down on Instagram trying to tell you, like, oh, this is what you should be doing. Meanwhile, they scamming and, all that, like, well, I won't say no names.
Yeah, they're scamming to their entrepreneurship. Right,
instead of it actually being real money. I mean, there's, white-collar white men out there that, they scam too, but they're not flashy with it. They got on Skechers.
It's a different version of scamming.
Right. Yeah. If you're going to scam, every once in a while, put on some Skechers. You ain't got to wear Balenciaga every day, but anyway.
Yes, you do. It's Atlanta. So with that my issue, I'm not looking for old white men to teach me how to do it.
Well, I don't know who. Matter of fact, let's ask. So who do you look to?
Like, that I actually have, like, in-person contact with? Nobody.
Really?
Yeah. Not in the sense of, like, entrepreneur stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. Let's talk about that.
Like, to, like, grow into, like, my industry. Yeah.
Because you're already, like, you're doing good.
And to, I have one person. I can't say I have no. They'll watch and be like, they will watch this and be like, what motherfucker? I have, one person that I look to for a lot of business stuff, but it's not in the same sense of, like, they wouldn't be a mentor to me in that context.
Okay.
Like, I definitely have people who I talk to about different business decisions and run stuff by, but I don't, like, I talk to my brother about, like, different kind of business stuff, but I still wouldn't look at him in terms of, like, a mentor.
Right. Okay. Let's work on that.
Yeah, no, in that sense. Most of the stuff that I have learned is, like what you were saying, has been very self-taught type stuff, which I know a lot of people think I'm an OnlyFans girl, and so I'm not a real entrepreneur. But I would still want, somebody just to, like, in general.
Just learn from. Yeah. Just, like, hear their experience and stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that. I love it. Because it's hard out here.
Yeah. Because I have a very, like, supportive friend group. But that doesn't mean they can necessarily teach me about, like, different kind of things like that. Because usually what ends up happening is the kind of different people that I know, I usually know a little bit more business type stuff than they usually do. Right.
That's why I truly believe in aligning yourself with people that are on your level and up. I mean, you can still have, your friends and people that's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say without being mean, but below. But it's very important to also have a hefty amount of people that are on your level and they're doing better than you.
Yeah.
Because you can learn from them. That's going to help you grow. That's going to keep you motivated. If you just hang out with people that, you know, if your whole friend group is, you know, below you, they don't really got going on, they always want to be out partying and stuff like that, then that's going to reflect on you.
Yeah.
And
then you got problems.
So...
Because I'm a very, like, in solitude type person anyway. And so that's probably part of the reason. Because also, too, like, most of my work is, like, just me.
Right.
So I don't actively put myself in spaces in which I would be networking with a lot of people.
That definitely, that's true. Yeah, because it's like, how would you, like, what would that look like?
Randomly running into somebody at Starbucks.
Like, what would that look like? But no, I
feel like you look like you have something going for yourself. You want to be my mentor? Because I don't even like to talk to people and like I'm a nice person. I'm not a friendly person. And I feel like those are two different things. Like if someone speaks to me, I'm always going to say hey and be polite. But I'm not, if I got on an elevator with you, I'm not going to say nothing to you. I'm going to actively be on my phone because I feel like it's awkward that we're in the elevator together.
Like you're
not saying anything, and I'm not going to be the first one to say anything.
I like that. I align myself with people like that. Like
fire people.
Yeah, because it's just like I don't like people that are too friendly. Like my boyfriend is friendly, and I'd be like. He just like he want to talk to everybody and.
Well, if you listen to like different psychologists and stuff who are on YouTube, they always say charismatic people have a higher tendency to be narcissists.
I believe it.
Yeah. So if anything, that's a good. You're telling me.
I'd be like, why are you gaslighting me? But yeah.
Not gaslighting.
Yeah, he be gaslighting me.
What are some goals that you have going forward this year? Have you set goals for 2023 already?
I haven't. I need to start working on that. But I would say being more, opening up myself a little more because I'm very introverted. And that's hard to be when you're in entertainment. So especially like with being on this reality show and stuff like that, and it's just like, going, I got to go to certain events and, now I got to do certain interviews and now I got to, just do certain things to be in the public eye because I'm also trying to, just grow my career, period. So, one of the goals for me is to just like really get out there, market myself more and just.
Show face a little more.
Right. Because it's like, okay, this is what you wanted. This is what I wanted ever since being a kid.
It's always coming. Being in entertainment?
Huh?
Being in entertainment?
Yeah. Ever since I was like in middle school, I wanted to be in entertainment. So now that is like my career is starting to like go forward, it's like, all right, you gotta do what you need to do. You gotta get out of here. It's gonna be awkward.
Yeah.
But you gotta do it. That's why I gave myself the name of Chauncey A. McQueen and not my government name, because I need two people to tap into.
People? Yeah.
Yes.
I understand that. That's why I made you take my name off.
I was like, okay, I can do that. Because I remember when I had seen my name, because when I used to be like, do makeup and stuff like that, I did makeup in this, like, for like this one magazine article, and they put my government name in there, and I was like, oh, I was pissed. I was so pissed. Because I'm supposed to be thanking them for the opportunity. I'm sending an email like, y'all put my government name, It's supposed to be Chauncey A. McQueen. Yeah. So, but that's probably my main goal. But also, just pumping out my content, putting out, shows, trying to start my production company and,
production company.
Yeah. I'm working on 2 shows. One reality show and one docuseries.
You were in front of the camera, both of them?
No.
Okay.
As a producer.
Okay.
As a producer. I never want to do a project and then also cast myself in it. So I do those, you know, two
I would.
I feel like it can be a headache. It can be fun,
Yeah.
because you're also on the show. So it's just like you can't. All right, cut the cameras and be like, what we're not gonna do. But yeah, I don't think it would be too much for me to do it. I can't.
I guess it would depend on the scale of it.
Like as your character.
Like
Okay.
Like who you are in the show, and just like in general. Like if it's a bigger production, then I could see not wanting to be in it, because then you don't, like, you're trying to figure out logistics while also actively be involved in what's going on between you and the other people.
Oh yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, you definitely gonna feel like you the shit when you're on the show, because you are the shit. Like I know Natalie, she probably be feeling herself. I know she be feeling herself. But
Who?
Natalie. Where's she?
Oh, you said Natalie Nunn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She probably be feeling herself. Because it's your show.
Yeah.
You literally cut them cameras and put people in their place. So, but that, and just being, you know, stepping into the role of, it's like, okay, you want to be a star, so you're gonna have to beef up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, because I'm very shy.
Comfortable with being uncomfortable. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
And that's when my career really started to, you know, make some moves, when I just started doing things and stopped being like, oh, you know, I don't want to do that because, you know, I'm shy, I don't think I'm going to do good. It's just like, you got to tap into something else. Go in that audition, go do that show, go do that whatever, go to that interview, and just
make it happen.
Just make it happen.
But that's what this past year, 2022, I feel like was a lot of that for me, of realizing I don't get to like sit in my comfort zone at all really anymore. I still do, in the sense of most of my work is all done between like me, my marketing manager, my videographer. Like I have a small group of people that I'm working with, but there's a lot of different stuff that makes me like uncomfortable
like
to
what?
do. This podcast is uncomfortable for me.
Okay.
Like a lot of, because I feel like the podcast, because it's going to sound weird, because I'm naked all over the internet, but doing stuff like this feels more personal to me. And so it's a lot, I feel more bare doing stuff like this than I do that.
Oh. That's interesting.
Right?
Because you would think it would be the other way around. I can understand that though.
Which that was like a little uncomfortable for me when I first started. But then aspects of it started feeling like empowering. And then now at this point it's kind of like a copy-paste. Not copy-paste, because I try to keep my content like fresh and interesting.
Right.
But in terms of the procedures that I go into when making content has become a lot more streamlined. And so it makes it even more comfortable for me to do it. Whereas this is obviously very new.
Right.
And so it's just the uncomfortable part of getting used to something. And then it's a different kind of, like I said, it's a whole different kind of content.
Okay. So I have a question. Like when it comes to like the OnlyFans content and stuff like that, is there sometimes where you just like, your emotions like really be in it? And are there sometimes where it's like, is there emotion at all? It's like, okay, once we get the camera, I don't give a fuck.
I think the portrayal of the emotions in my content, it comes from an organic place.
Oh, okay, you answered that real good. Okay, cool. Okay.
But a lot of it, it just kind of depends on the content. I think a lot of people assume, I can't speak for other creators, obviously, but I think a lot of people assume when they see really anybody who gets into like any kind of adult content, the assumption is that they are very horny and that's why they get into it.
Right.
Which was not the case for me. And it's like not the case for me in general. Like I'm sexual. I love sex. I don't think about sex 24 hours a day.
Right.
Like if I was not doing adult content, I wouldn't even have sex as much as I have sex. At all in general.
Interesting. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so sometimes it takes, like you have to like work yourself up into it, into certain things. And I think also too, people just in general, they think that a camera gets turned on and you just go to fucking and everybody comes.
Right.
And then that's how porn is produced. And while some homemade content can be a little bit more like that, professionally done content is not like that at all. We're filming this clip and then we're stopping. We're filming this clip and then we're stopping. We're filming this clip and then we're stopping. And then now we have to move to a whole different section of the area that we're filming in. So now it's a 20, 30-minute break for Tevin to move all of his stuff around. And then it's back to filming and then filming another thing. And especially when you're working with like any kind of male talent, you're having them get aroused repeatedly, and all of the men.
Definitely.
And so just in general, what tends to happen, and that kind of is no fault to the men, but what can typically happen in those kind of scenarios is, you start having issues with standing up, shall we say, because you start giving yourself blue balls.
Right.
Because you just done got excited, then unexcited, excited, then unexcited, excited, then unexcited,
right.
Over and over and over again. And so it's not as glamorous as what it looks like.
Thinking about it's giving me anxiety. I got anxiety.
I gave you performance anxiety?
Like thinking about that. Yeah.
That's why I say it's two different, like when people do homemade OnlyFans content, like that's easy in the sense of you pop the thing up beside the stand for your camera beside your bed and then just get to it.
Right.
Just make sure you're like inside of that camera angle range. But when you're doing professionally shot content, it's a lot different.
Wow. Yeah, that would give me anxiety.
They're very two different beasts.
I'd be like, oh, this is a lot. It would have to be a day when I'm like really in the mood, because that would be.
But that's the thing too. It's like when I book my content, or not my content, when I book my shoots, it's not like I'm gonna know whether or not I'm horny before I get there.
Right. Because your mood could change.
Because I'm booking them 2-3 a month in advance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's hard.
Me? Yeah. Most of my content is shot, it's pre-shot. So if you see something in January, it was shot in December. Part of the stuff that's being shown in December now was shot in October, September.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Damn, it's
the same way you have a product.
Right.
You ain't gonna mix it up today and then go sell it at the store tomorrow.
It's a business.
Yeah, it's a business.
It's a whole business. It's hard too.
So speaking of your goals and everything you're wanting to do moving forward, how do you feel like you being who you are influences the way in which you go after those goals and how you have to maneuver the world to achieve them?
Ooh, damn, that's a good question.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, hold on. Well, okay, let me understand the question first. So you're saying like how
you as a person,
how does that affect going forward and stuff like that?
In a business, because like what you were saying, with to reference back to what you were saying, most of the people that you look at are cis white men in terms of business, and obviously as a black man, and then as a gay black man, you're gonna have a different experience navigating business than they are.
Absolutely. It's actually, sometimes it becomes a little hard, but I'm also the type of person, just like with anything in life, I believe there's certain parts of yourself that you have to like tap into. You know what I mean? Like you have to have multiple versions of yourself, and it's not you being fake. Because like one thing that I say all the time, a lot of people don't like it, but it's like I'm really big on like faking it till you make it, because that's the only way to get ahead. It's the only way to get ahead. It's like you have to, you know, every opportunity that I've gotten in life, it's all about faking it to make it. For instance, you know, when I used to do makeup, the very first time, it was like to fix like my eyebrow and stuff like that. And then I started watching videos and I started into other things. And then I was like, oh, well, you know, let me start practicing. That's another side hustle to make some money. And the very first client that I got, it was her prom, and she was like, she noticed that my eyebrows were really nice always. She's like, oh, you do makeup? Never did no makeup before. Didn't even buy it. I didn't even know about Sephora. And I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, I need a makeup artist for prom. I'll pay you this much, da 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 da. You know, can you do it on this day? I was like, and went to the store, went in Sephora for the first time. I was like, this shit is how much? And just bought a little makeup case from like Walmart, and went to her house, and you would have thought I was a pro. You would have thought I was a pro. I watched so many YouTube videos the night before to get ready. And I couldn't practice on myself, didn't wear makeup, and doing it on yourself is different than doing it on somebody else. But I went there, we had a trial, and then I did it the next day. The trial, it looked terrible. It looked so bad. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to come up, like, please, God. But next day came, and the night before I was just watching a whole bunch of videos, just trying to go over things in my head. The next day, I tapped in. I told myself, I'm a makeup artist. I'm a pro makeup artist. I'm a celebrity makeup artist. Let me walk in there and kill this shit real quick. And her family, you know, they sitting there while I'm doing her makeup. When we were done, and like she came downstairs, you know, after I finished everything, after she got dressed, hair, I was like, this looks like somebody else, like a real pro. There's no way that I did this. She looked good. She looked so good.
Not you faked it till you made it off YouTube.
I did over everything.
I can relate to that. I did that when I first got actually into cosmetics, because my background was in hair. And at the time I had just recently moved to Atlanta, like a little over a year prior. And I was determined I didn't, like I had left doing hair because I hated it. And so I still had a cosmetic background in the sense of like, we had went over a couple things like in cosmetology school, but I had never like application-wise really done a whole lot of stuff. But I was like, I'm gonna just go in here and relate I interviewed very well. And so I got the position that I was going for at the time. But it was like, it wasn't bullshit, because it's like, I did have a cosmetic background and all that kind of stuff, but I just beefed it up a lot.
But that's what you have to do.
But I think there's a difference between doing that kind of stuff, like faking it till you make it in that sense, and more of what she was talking about was just leaning in to certain traits that you naturally have a little bit more in certain scenarios.
Okay.
It's similar to like what you were saying, like you're naturally more introverted, but you still have the ability to be extroverted.
Right.
And so moving forward, you have to fall into that more instead of you're introverted in order to get what you want.
Yeah, because with the reality show, you know, I actually don't like being on camera. I don't. It like, I be so like, when being in front of the camera, but of course doing that, we're filming for like 6 months, you're on camera every week.
Yeah.
Like, so multiple times, you know, throughout each week. So it will be like, and sometimes all day you're on camera. So that's when I have to tap into an extroverted side. I can't be introverted because you're on a reality show, like you're gonna need to.
They don't want anybody boring on there.
Right. So, but you also don't want to come off as boring to people. So, you know, that's when I got to tap into my extroverted side. But last year, there was a premiere that I went to for another reality show that I'm on, but just a friend to the show. But I went to the premiere and stuff like that, I hate doing. I hate meeting people. I hate, like, socializing and mixing and mingling.
I hate small talk type stuff.
It's awkward.
So much.
it's awkward. But that's when you got to be extroverted because you have to network. You know, you can't. You're on reality TV now. You just trying to. You in entertainment now. Whatever it is that you want to do, be a singer, whatever, actor, reality star, you have to be extroverted.
See, I don't think I would be good at reality TV.
You don't think so?
No. I think people would probably think I'm boring.
But see, here's the interesting thing when it comes to reality TV. And I almost feel like they should do like case studies on them because the things that like producers do to get like your mind to make you be good or like you can take the most boring person ever. You can create some content.
Really?
There's one reality show that I worked on. And
well, I feel like it's reality, like from my perspective, I feel like it's reality, but it's controlled reality.
Right.
Because in real life, if you don't fuck with somebody, you're not going to continuously be around them. But if you're getting paid to be in the same spaces that person is in, then obviously you have to be around them. So eventually, either you're going to have conflict with the person or there's going to have to be like a conflict resolution. Whereas most of the time, like real life, you would just be like, fuck that bitch, I ain't going to her party.
But you also have like, on different productions, it's different, but for the most part, especially on, you know, bigger productions and stuff like that, like Real Housewives and stuff like that, each cast member has a producer. You know, even our shows are just a web reality show, but we each have a producer. And you have certain situations where producers will get together and their goal is to create a story, create a show. So they're going to do things to, you know, shake things up. And sometimes that's even lying to one cast member, like showing up. And let's say you got an event or something that you're hosting at your housewarming and stuff like that. And one of the cast members is a new cast member that come in to meet you for the first time to your house. But before they go, you know, you got one producer saying, so, you know, she invited you, but she actually really doesn't like you. She said this about you. Da-da-da-da. And just kind of like getting in your head. So you thinking like, huh? Like what? And then they go, now y'all got friction. So it's like, they'll manipulate you. Their job is to create a show.
So switching topics a little bit, you know, I have to ask you at least one trans-related question because this is T-rated. Do you feel like trans women and gay men have the best track record of supporting each other?
That's actually really hard. I feel like I want to say no.
Why?
That's the thing I'm trying to think.
Not why we don't, but like, why do you say that you don't feel like we do?
I think, I don't know, from what I've seen, not necessarily experienced, but from what I've seen, sometimes there can be almost like a competition. Where it's just kind of like, I can't even name where it is, but it's
what side do you feel like the competition comes from?
Like on which side?
Both sides.
I think sometimes it can be both sided. But I think it's more so when it comes to the more femme gays, more than, you know, some of like more masculine or, you know, whatever. But I think with like the femme gays and, you know, transgender, I think sometimes it can get like, it can almost become like a competition. Where it's like, it's kind of weird.
What are they competing for?
That's the thing. I don't know. Because you have some, you know, femme gay men who, you know, they dress, they wear heels, but they don't want to be trans.
Yeah, they're a dude.
Right. So I think it's like, I can't really say, because that's not my case. Because my relationship with like trans females, trans males and stuff like that is more so like, I don't know. It's a little different. Like, for instance, I have a transgender friend, and she's like my sister. Like, you know, I look at her like my own sister. So my relationships are a little bit different. But from what I see, I feel like, you know, the more femme gays and trans usually have a little competition.
With each other. Yeah. I feel like part of it comes because a lot of, like, to lean into what you were saying already, there's a lot of gay men, because I've seen this firsthand from like different men that I've talked to. For example, I used to have this guy friend, and people knew that he would date trans women. And so he would get messages all the time from like gay men, and not necessarily like super effeminate gay men, but just like a lot of time effeminate gay men, but just kind of like gay in the sense of like you knew they were gay. Which I feel like is me stereotyping, but y'all know what I'm saying. But they would message him, and when he would reject them, one of their comebacks would always be, well, you fuck with trans women, like, what's the difference? And so it's like...
I think it's a jealousy thing.
Yeah. I think part of it can be, like, jealousy, but I think part of it, too, can just be a lot of gay men fetishize straight men and the masculinity that comes with that. And they feel like the men that are typically attracted to trans women exude that more than, I guess, the type of men that they may usually get.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Where it's more so, because sometimes I feel like when it comes to like femme gay men who don't want to be trans, they can't. You know, there's a lot of people that go after, like, heterosexual men that go after the fantasy of being with a trans. And as a femme gay man, you can't get that type of man because you're not trans.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that can...
I don't know. Some of them you can get. Cause maybe y'all in the right place because you can definitely get some of them.
But yeah, it becomes like a competition where it's like, you know, you want that type of experience, you know, but it's like not, I don't know how to say it.
Do you feel like, no, say what you're going to say.
I was going to be, because it's just like when it comes to certain, you know, fantasies, it's like you're not that special.
What do you mean? Like
you're not trans. So it's like you're not going to get that treatment. So then it's like if you have like a trans friend or something, like now you mad at her, you're jealous, you know,
because you see them getting treated the way you would like to be treated,
right? You know, she's going to Dubai and you ain't even got a passport, so you're jealous now. You're jealous now, and somebody's paying for it. You're mad, and it's gonna cause a...
But I feel like just in general too, like gay men will be the first ones a lot of the times who will like spill your tea to other people who have no business knowing your tea. Why do you think y'all do that?
Well, I don't do that. I would never.
Why do y'all do that, Chauncey?
But
so you never did it in your whole life? Not even one time?
No.
Thought about it? Because, you know, on occasion I'll see a trainee and I'm like, hey, that's a trainee.
So, like, tell them about it. See, I'm a different type of gay, though. A lot of people think I'm straight. But it's just like, I would just be very like...
Now, I will say, because what typically happens to me on Instagram is my algorithm, the only thing it suggests to me is mostly like beauty stuff and like Kardashians and like hair makeup. On the rare occasion that a dude pops up on there, I'll usually be like, oh, he's fine. And then I go looking at the pictures, but then I start looking and really looking, and I'm like, oh, he gay. And so I could see how you would give me that at first. Then
you meet me, I'm just like, you know, very sexually fluid. But, yeah, that's why my relationship when it comes to, like, trans, it's different. There's no competition, you know, because I'm not, I don't wear heels and hair.
Why do you feel like the other gay men who do randomly tell bitches to you, why do you feel like they do that then?
Because they're jealous.
The same thing?
I think they're you know, they're jealous because you see, especially when you have, you know, a trans female who is just like, she's that bitch, she's on Instagram, you know, she's on vacation, she look good, her body is good and stuff like that, and she's getting just like all this attention, and you may be, you know, just, you know, a regular gay boy who's not really getting like attention or anything like that, and you're jealous. So now if you know somebody who's gonna, you know, try to talk to her on like a serious note, you're gonna be like, you're gonna be in their DMs like, oh, so just so you know what I mean?
Just so you know.
You'd be jealous.
See, I'm lucky that most of the gay men that I've been around haven't ever really. It's always been random gay.
Do you have any like gay male friends
that I'm like super close to? Not super close to.
What do you think that is?
I don't know. Like my uncle's gay, but I'm not super close to him. I just see him randomly.
I'll be a gay male friend.
He'll be my gay man friend. Like I have gay guys that I'm like casual acquaintances with, and like if I see them out, I'll say hey to them, but not that like I talk to on a regular basis.
Yeah, one of my closest friends now, she's trans. She's on the show too, but yeah, she's trans. That's how we met. Like, yeah, like my sister. So kind of going back to what you said, there was a situation where, because also, how do you feel about this? Gay men fighting trans women.
I'm going to answer that this way. I feel like when it comes to fighting in general, because, you know, like, if they come for trans women when we get in fights with, like, females or cis women. And so I'm going to answer that this way. The point at which we fighting, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are. Like, in reality. I don't think a man at all should be the first to swing on any kind of woman. But, like, if a trans woman walks up and starts, like, getting all in a dude's face, like any guy face, or she starts hitting on him, and he want to knock her out, then, like, knock her the fuck out. Because it's like, it's a fight. You're fighting. Why do you have the point at which you are physically having a physical altercation with somebody? Like, the whole purpose is to win. So whatever advantage you have in your life, whether it's the fact that you're a dude, so you got testosterone flowing through your body, then use your advantage.
I had a situation like that last year on the show where there was the girl that I'm friends with now. She got into it with another cast member, a guy, and I had kind of something like no, like fight me instead. And a lot of people, they didn't like that because they were like, oh, well, she can hold her own. And then the other conversation would come up of like her being trans and stuff like that. But for me, it's like when...
No, I understand that from your perspective.
Yeah, so then for me, it'd be more so like I just tap into the role like, okay, no.
Protect her,
Right.
No, I get that from that perspective. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you.
And that's like if any dude sits there and he's like, no, he's not going to do it because he doesn't... he understands he has like an advantage and so he could hurt her. I mean, I respect that too, but it's like, if I'm not going to fault...
Right.
Because there was like a video on Twitter, and they were like both cis, like, but it was a gay guy and this woman at the airport, and he like worked for some airline, and like she kept getting in his face, and then it turned into like her yelling racial slurs, and then he just ended up like she ended up hitting him, and then he started like, and I was like, good for you, bruh.
That's true. Don't put your hands on nobody. You don't want them.
The point at which you put your hands on somebody is fair game.
Right. I can agree with that.
Fair game.
I agree with that. Don't hit. You don't want to be. You don't want to get hit. Don't swing on nobody.
Don't start. Because you know I've seen a female get tossed into the bathroom stall one time because she piped up a little too much. So.
And they just threw her in the bathroom.
Huh?
They just threw her in the bathroom.
Yeah. They just like pushed her in there.
Ooh,
but also, like, in respect to, like, trans women and females getting into fights, like, I'm not the type of person who's ever going to hit somebody first, but, like I was just saying, the point at which hands start getting thrown, I'm not going to, like, be nicer to you. But I'm also tall, and I feel like just in general, like, in that scenario, that girl was, like, 5'3", and so... You see, because it was me and like two of my other girlfriends, and we're all around the same height. And so at the point at which you see that we are physically bigger than you, why are you starting something? Because even if I was cis and wasn't trans, why are you trying to like start something?
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Chauncey.
Of course.
I appreciate you being on with me today.
I enjoyed it.
You want to plug all of everything you're doing?
Yeah, so you can follow my business, both my businesses, StrugglePod _ it's my podcast. My skincare business at Musk Labs. You can watch me on Set It Off ATL. You can watch me on the Way Up, season 4. Actually, I don't want to say season 4. I don't know what season it is.